Cult Trash Over, the show that discusses all the masterpieces and trashpieces of genre cinema. I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris.
And we promise this is the last one for at least 2 weeks. We are back with another early 2000s horror film.
Very early 2000s.
Very early 2000s.
Very early
It's even in the title.
It is.
Kind
of.
Yeah, so picture this. Back in 2000, 2001, no, it was probably 2002. Somewhere between 2001 and 2002. Young Gary was just getting into horror, watched about 2 or 3 horror films at this point. 10 years old. And a videotape is rented from the video store, from Blockbuster. And it is what I considered to be at the time the coolest film.
Oh.
A film that I thought was so cool. A film that I thought I remembered nothing about until I watched it tonight. And nostalgia took over and I remembered every second of it. A film that makes an impact. It's Wes Craven presents Dracula 2000 if you're in America and Canada. Dracula 2001 if you're anywhere else.
Did you just say a film that makes an impact?
Well, it must have made some sort of impact. I mean, I don't remember what I did last week, but I remember everything that happened in this film.
Well, I have to say, I may have been aware of the film back in the day, but I totally forgot it even existed until you mentioned it for the podcast. I thought we were talking about a different film. Yeah, I have no idea. No idea my history with this. It wasn't the Christopher Plummer film I was watching at 10 years old.
No, what was...
It was Sound of Music.
Of course.
A little more sophisticated over here, thank you very much.
This was, sophisticated.
It's not. Can we just say...
Suave.
Dracula 2000 sounds okay. Dracula 2001, what the fuck?
It's awful. It's such an awful title.
Why?
Okay.
Why would you change it to 2001? Just because... Was it released?
Because it was released in 2001. It's in the trivia. Okay, let's make one thing clear. I absolutely stand by the fact that this is not a good film, by the way. This is in no way a good film. But it is fucking bizarre. Like, I really don't know what the writer was on for this. The audacity to write some of the plot lines in this film is fucking ridiculous.
Weird.
I mean, directed by Patrick Lussier, who we've recently discussed actually on the podcast, the director of My Bloody Valentine 3D. He also did Trick, Drive Angry, White Noise, The Light, and the sequels to this. I've seen Dracula 2. It's horrific.
It's called Dracula 2.
It's called Dracula 2.
Dracula 2.
And Dracula 3. And I swear to you, it's a prequel. It's not good. Budget of $54 million. It made $47 million worldwide.
How did it get a sequel then?
Straight to video. Both of them straight to video.
Still. It maybe did better in the video market. I suppose we don't include that.
No.
In gross.
No.
Maybe it did well on DVD or VHS.
Perhaps. I say directed by Patrick Lussier. I say it very loosely.
Okay.
Well, no, do you not think the directing in this film was fucking horrific? It feels like he got to a certain point, do you know what, do whatever you want, I ain't even directing this shit anymore. Like,
it was messy, very
just,
messy.
You always just do whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah.
Like, there was no direction in this film. The Dracula origin story sounds like it's completely made up on the spot.
It's a weird one. You know, we all make choices, but that was a choice.
Get into the trivia. Script doctor Scott Derrickson.
Script doctor?
Fucking needed it. Told the story of how he got the job working on this film. Piece of shit Harvey Weinstein called him, saying, I just brought this script called Dracula 2000. And Derrickson replied, oh, is it any good? And Weinstein told him it stinks. And then he asked why he brought it. He said, because it's called Dracula 2000. And let's face it, Harvey Weinstein probably had other things on his mind at that point. He didn't give a shit what he was releasing.
But Dracula 2000 is actually an alright title.
Yeah.
Was Dracula in the public domain then?
I don't think so. I mean,
It would have been over. I mean, I don't know what the public domain is on novels.
yeah, I
I know
suppose.
Nosferatu was sued. But by the year 2000, was it in the public? I think it's in the public domain now, isn't it?
I think so.
Taking it with shit that's Dracula.
This-
This, that, and the other.
This is 8 years after Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
I mean, have you seen Bram Stoker's Dracula?
No. I've
I
seen
have.
bits and pieces.
I kind of feel like they were going for that sort of thing with some of the style choices, but no, just didn't work. Derrickson rewrote the script,
Yeah.
the original one. Harvey Weinstein threw it out and then got someone else to do another rewrite, right? And this is what he considered to be the best version of the film.
I see. Bloody hell. Must have been banned.
I fucking hate that most of the horror genre in the late 90s, early 2000s has his name on it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yes. Lucy, played by Vitamin C.
Now, Vitamin C is famous for a song, the graduation song.
Yes.
No, I don't think that translated to the UK. Did it? I don't remember it being a big hit.
I just remember the first time I heard it, it was in Scary Movie 2. That's...
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah.
I don't think I watched Scary Movie 2.
Probably a wise choice.
What about her, though? What you got to say?
Well, she is talking, in the scene where she's talking to Mary in a record store, she's standing right in front of a shelf that has her CD on it.
Hey, well, that's queen behaviour. That's like Madonna dancing to her own song
It
in
is.
Desperately Seeking Susan.
In the Korean release of the film, the video being played on the Jumbotron when Dracula's walking by, the Monster Magnet video.
Yeah.
See.
Oh, okay. Was that real?
There was a real video, yeah. His head's exploded by a monster magnet. In
I
Korea...
thought it was a parody.
No, I know. It's such a terrible music video. It is awful. And it's even worse when you find out what Korea's choice was. They had One Step Closer by Linkin Park.
Oh.
And everywhere else got Heads Explode by Monster Magnet.
Oh, well, we looked out on that one.
I mean, why couldn't you just keep with Linkin Park everywhere else?
Exactly. I mean, it's the song over the end credits. Bit consistency there.
Gerard Butler was given a break from filming The Cherry Orchid so that he could play Dracula in this. He probably should have stuck with The Cherry Orchid, really.
Wow.
I mean, no one acts in this
Isn't it
film.
Cherry Orchard.
Maybe. But Gerard Butler does not act in this film. He's practically sleepwalking through it.
One of the funniest things that I've seen, you know Jimmy Kimmel in America?
Yeah.
He does celebrities read mean tweets. And Gerard Butler was one of them. And the tweet was, does Gerard Butler owe a shit ton of student loan debt? because he just takes whatever he can
He really
get.
does.
I didn't think Gerard Butler was a thing was a thing. Excuse me, that's a bit disrespectful.
He was like born in the mid 2000s.
I didn't think he was a star in 2000. You know, he just looks like Heath Ledger in 10 Things I Hate About You.
He does.
I genuinely thought it was Heath Ledger. I don't know. Yeah.
I thought Johnny Lee Miller in this film was Chris O'Donnell. Now you've seen the film, can you see why I would...
No.
No, okay. He's dressed like Chris O'Donnell when he's not Robin.
Okay. No.
He's got the same hair.
Okay. No.
Okay. For years, I swear, whenever I spoke to anyone about this film, like, oh yeah, Chris O'Donnell.
I feel like this
Dracula
is the kind
2000.
of film Chris O'Donnell would have been
I know, yeah.
in 2000.
Yeah.
I think post Batman and Robin,
Give me anything you got.
I think so. And seemingly Gerard Butler was like that from the start.
He still is. I mean...
Well, he is. I mean, what have I seen that's got Gerard Butler in?
His big role was 300,
I don't think I have seen anything with Gerard Butler in. What was his big role?
300?
I haven't seen that. Oh, God.
I swear that's his big...
Oh, of course it is. Oh, that's a film that was huge at the time, and now I kind of forget that it existed.
It's alright. It's not terrible. I mean, he's most well known for...
Yeah, but it was huge at
It
the time.
was. He's most well known for 300, Law-Abiding Citizen, The Phantom of the Opera, where he played the Phantom, and The Bounty Hunter with Jennifer Aniston. Now, when The Bounty Hunter is within your 4 most well-known films, you need to talk with your agent.
Excuse me. Oh, he played the Phantom in Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was in Tomb Raider, Cradle of Life.
He was.
Coriolanus. Not funny about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He played a seaman in Tomorrow Never Dies.
Oh, okay. It's not the biggest role.
Yeah, he's one of those names where you kind of feel like he's got a bigger career than he's actually got. Like, you hear Gerard Butler, you're, oh yeah, he's a well-known actor. Of course, everyone knows Gerard Butler. Do they? Have they seen anything of him in?
No.
I think his name's more famous than he is.
No. He is a big-time actor with straight people.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I think it's a straight thing. Something like London Has Fallen.
Yeah.
Law-Abiding Citizen.
Yeah.
Rock and Roller.
300 is very...
300. Yeah, I think he's for the
one for the straights.
For the heteros, I think.
We'll let you keep Gerard Butler. We'll keep Vitamin C.
Vitamin C.
All of the Mardi Gras.
We'll keep Leslie Jordan. I think Leslie Jordan is one that hasn't. I don't think straight people really understand Leslie Jordan.
No. All of the
barely understand.
All of the Mardi Gras scenes were actually filmed in August, 6 months after the real Mardi Gras had ended.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, can't really tell.
No, not really. Well, no, I mean, no one looks that excited.
I had to really squeeze that one in because I wasn't much truer for this.
My question is, why set it during Mardi Gras?
I know, yeah.
Like, Mardi Gras is not integral to the story in any way whatsoever. Like, what's the point? It's just so you can have some teens partying in the trailer.
They could have just, like... I mean, this wasn't long after Blade. They could have just set it at a rave or something. Like...
Yeah, but why set it anywhere like that?
I know,
It has nothing to do with the story.
It's true.
No main character ever actually goes to a party of any kind.
No.
They kind of just have to wade through people to get from one place to another. But it's in absolutely no way integral to the story. And this is something I don't like as well. Like, it's set in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And New Orleans has a really wonderful and rich history.
Yeah.
Which I would have hoped would have been more of a part of the story. And it really wasn't. It could have been set anywhere.
Yeah.
So, New Orleans was pointless. And the Mardi Gras part of it was pointless. If Mardi Gras had been more integral to the story, I could have understood why they set it in New Orleans. But this could have been any city in any
really
place. There were no interesting landmarks. There was no interesting set pieces. The one real interesting sort of set prop, which, spoiler alert, is the massive neon Jesus. I mean, you could have had that in Vegas. You could have. That could have been anywhere. It was just a real disappointment, you know. But yeah.
So getting into the film, a group of thieves break into a chamber expecting to find paintings, but instead they release the Count himself, who travels to New Orleans to find his nemesis' daughter, Mary Van Helsing.
Yeah. So
I love the idea of thieves stealing Dracula. I think that's a great premise.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like I said, this is after Blade, this is after The Matrix, this is after the fucking Mummy. they could have made something really stylish and great from this. I mean, stylish for 2000. They could have done something really great with this. I don't know how they ended up with this.
It's very messy, and it's trying too hard, I think, to be modern.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Dracula tale lends itself too much to a modern story. Do you remember when we watched the BBC adaptation of Dracula recently?
I know what you're going to say.
And we were loving it up until the episode where it came to modern times.
Yes.
And it fell flat. It didn't work. And I think maybe Dracula is one of those stories that doesn't translate. You can have vampire story, you know, a film like Blade.
Yeah.
You know, we've had some great Blade's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. But modern vampire tales.
The Fright Night remake.
Let the Right One In. It's the similar.
Yeah.
It's similar.
Just as a vampire
story. They're all vampires.
Yes.
But I just don't think the Dracula story lends itself to a modern retelling.
I think, if I remember right, I think the only bad Blade film also had Dracula in it in a modern setting as well. Blade Trinity.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's absolutely the case. It just. Yeah. Let's get into it.
Yes.
We start with a boat full of corpses and some opening credits, complete with a very overdramatic score.
I have literally put here, Wes Craven presents. Oh no.
I was just about to ask you about Wes Craven, actually.
Oh no.
Wes Craven presents, also presented Carnival of Souls remake.
Let's make something very clear right here, right now. Wes Craven had absolutely no input whatsoever into this film.
This is going for post-Scream horror. There's a few meta moments in here, right? This film wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Scream. You've got the creator of Scream producing. Come on, what's your excuse?
I might as well get it out of the way now, seeing as we're talking about Wes Craven and Scream. One of my biggest bugbears with this film is that it wasn't meta enough. If you're gonna do it, just fucking do it.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do it.
You get like 2 or 3 scenes.
There are 2 scenes that reference Bram Stoker's novel.
Yeah.
2 scenes. But knowing that the novel exists within this universe creates more questions than it answers.
Yeah. They could do what happens in Lost Boys. They could do what happens in Lost Boys with the comics. They could use the novel as a guide.
Yeah.
You know, that would be fun. That would be funny as well. You know, there's plenty of things they could do with that. It's such a wasted opportunity.
Yeah, it really is. I'm not hugely... I've never read the novel. So I don't know how closely this... I'm pretty sure in the novel the twist isn't the twist it is in this film.
And I'm sure no other film,
because we've watched other Dracula films and it's never been mentioned.
No other film would have the audacity to go with this twist.
I actually kind of want to leave it until it happens as we're discussing it. I know that is a spoiler I don't want to give too
usually
early.
Usually I say in a bizarre series of events off the cuff, you know, just like when I'm coming up to something. I actually wrote it down for this because it is that ridiculous. But yeah, we get these corpses, the silhouette of someone walking down the street before we're taken to London in 2000.
Yeah, so completely pointlessly, we have London. I'm assuming it's a Victorian London because it's very much in keeping with the style. Big Ben's in the background.
Yeah.
Good old Big Ben. Recently in the news for having a massive amount of money completely wasted on sprucing it up. But we won't get into that right now. And then a shadowy figure lurks. I think they're going for Jack the Ripper.
It looks like it, yeah. We all know it's Dracula, though.
I would have loved to have seen a Jack the Ripper style Dracula film.
Yeah.
I think the two stories lend themselves, well, stories, one of them's, you know, true life story, but they could lend themselves into a bit of a, you know, a crossover in some sense.
Mhm.
But unfortunately we don't get that, because we skip straight to London 2000.
It's true.
Or 2000 London. It kind of annoyed me that it's 2000 London. You know, if they'd put London...
Chris, it's okay. You don't have to clutch at straws for this film. There's plenty to bitch about.
It just kind of annoyed me. 2000 London.
Also, going back slightly to the premise, this whole Mary Van Helsing thing. Do you remember when the BBC one was released and everyone, all the middle-aged straight white people were like, my Van Helsing's not a woman.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck you. This film did it, and not only that...
You had an actual Van Helsing.
Yeah. Marvel Comics, Van Helsing in the 60s was a woman. Like, they've been doing woman Van Helsing for years now.
Of course they have.
And then Twitter was invented. And
But people don't do their research.
No.
People are just...
And Twitter wasn't around back then.
People, yeah, exactly. People just deal with whatever's in front of them. They don't, you know, go further than the end of their own nose.
It's true.
To find things to complain about.
Apparently...
A bit like me with 2000 London, but, you know.
Apparently Christopher Plummer never did that with script finding either.
Well...
Because we're introduced to him, Matthew Van Helsing.
The IMDb synopsis that you gave...
Yeah.
Is that the official one?
That's the official one.
The official one. So why is it a big surprise that it's Mary Van Helsing?
I know, yeah.
We'll get to that in a bit, but just on that subject, we're introduced to Christopher Plummer. What is going on with that accent? I'm confused. Van Helsing is meant to be Dutch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not explained. I mean, apparently he was living in London.
No, hang on. Van Helsing's not Dutch, is he?
Yeah.
It's Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers played him, didn't he?
No.
No?
No, not Peter Sellers. Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah, it's Peter Sellers, isn't it?
No. Peter Sellers, Inspector Clouseau. Oh my god, how embarrassing. I've forgotten his name. What is his name? Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing, yeah.
Peter Cushing.
I swear Peter Cushing was British when he played him.
Oh god,
Hugh Jackman was going for American in Van Helsing.
No, of course. No, I do understand that. But if if we can pretend that Van Helsing is British, I mean, his daughter is very...
Good luck with that
accent. Trying for very British. I just don't understand why, if he can't do the accent...
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it. We're suspending a lot of belief here. We've seen... I mean, seemingly the original, Van Helsing in London.
Yeah.
Why can't we just pretend he's British? Like, who's really gonna... If we're gonna rewrite the Dracula story, why are we still trying to give Van Helsing a weird accent?
Yeah.
Why can't we just, pretend?
I'm really not sure what accent he is trying to go for, though. I really don't know. Is Christopher Plummer
Dutch.
British?
Christopher Plummer is American.
He's American. You could have just been American.
Or was
it's
American.
Fine.
Rest in peace. I think he died this year.
He could have just gone with American.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, bitch, he was Austrian in The Sound of Music, and I can assure you his accent was not Austrian. It was pure American. His name was Von Trapp, and he had a very, very distinct American accent in that film. Another distinct accent. This is very much a film of accents. Proper Cockney geezer on a crossbow. Johnny Lee Miller.
Yeah, sick boy from Trainspotting.
Yes.
Is in this somehow.
From... What
do I remember?
What do I remember him from? Hackers.
Uh-huh.
He was married to Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
And I do remember Hackers back in the day.
Well, Matthew Van Helsing is a descendant of 19th century Dutch physician. Whatever. He's related to Abraham Van Helsing. owns an antique shop built over the site of Carfax Abbey in London. And Simon Shepherd, played by John Lee Miller, is his apprentice. And they're chatting shit about a crossbow, aren't they?
Yeah, some shit about whatever's inscribed on the crossbow. Did you say antique shop?
Do you not remember the iconic line?
I thought this was like the British Museum.
No, it's an antique shop.
It's huge. It's huge and like spacious, and I thought it was like the Victorian Albert, but they weren't allowed to say it.
No, we know it's an antique shop because later on we get a really great...
I know I understand that, but this is the biggest, most elaborate antique shop I've ever seen. I genuinely thought it was like a fancy museum. Fucking hell. Anyway, they're chatting shit about this crossbow, whatever's written on the crossbow.
Yeah.
They were chatting a little bit of shit about Bram Stoker's novel.
Yeah, Van Helsing is fuming about what he's turned his grandfather into.
Exactly. How very meta. Very nice. How many years since Scream? 4? Okay. Makes sense.
Simon tries flirting with Van Helsing's secretary, Selena, played by Jennifer Esposito. But she's not having any of it.
What do we know her from? This is absolutely a film of... What do I know them from?
Yeah, Jennifer Esposito's got one... Again, it's another Gerard Butler, how... I think she's got a famous name, but... I don't know if she's been in anything...
That we've seen.
I mean... I can tell you that she is most well known for... Are we ready? She's most well known for Nora from Queens.
Okay.
Awkwafina is Nora from Queens, the full title.
Okay.
The Boys and The Affair. I mean, we're always being badgered to watch The Boys by everyone we know, so...
That is very true. I've got the scoop. And she's also been in Crash.
Taxi.
I still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh.
Summer of Sam. The Master of Disguise.
Yeah, she's not well known for any of those. Huh?
No, I don't think she's got like main roles. Bending the Rules, that appears to star Edge.
She was on the island, weren't she? And I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
I believe so. Yes.
So she wasn't just a random...
No, I don't think she's... No.
Well, she's here, she's a secretary in this antique shop, and she's not having any of Simon's flirting. She doesn't date people she works with, does she?
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Apparently she did. It's a new rule. Because Simon says, well, you know, that... When did that rule come into? And apparently she dated someone else she works with. How many people work in this antique shop? I have no fucking clue. Again, this is why
the biggest antique shop in the world.
I thought it was the fucking Tate Modern, for fuck's sake.
Later that night with Van Helsing upstairs, Selena allows a group of thieves, led by her boyfriend Marcus, played by Omar Epps, from The Hangover. That's all I think I've seen him in.
Omar Epps, if I remember correctly, was the first person killed in Scream 2.
Oh shit, of course he was!
Of course he was.
I do not just know him from The Hangover. Let's pretend Gary didn't say that.
He was also in Trick.
Oh god, why is he still working with Patrick Lucier after he gave him this? Seriously? Has he not learned his lesson?
He hasn't got the greatest role in this film, has he?
Gets a memorable death scene, but they go into the shop.
Oh, so does she let them in?
Yes.
No, she doesn't. Do we see that she lets them in?
We don't see her let them in. No, we have to assume she does.
So they get to. I mean, this shop also has security guards. Okay, but he actually a fairly funny line where he says, "I hear you've had a security issue." He says, "You have now." I mean, that's absolutely a precursor to call the police, but not for me. What is it?
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
Not for me. Yeah.
Call ambulance.
Is that from? Oh, don't. You know, Sheree calling an ambulance. Is that from from a film?
I think
Call an
so,
ambulance, but not for me. Is it, I don't know. Hilarious.
I've got in my notes the thieves represent both what most people look like in the early 2000s and what they thought they looked like in the early 2000s.
Absolutely.
One of them is Lachlan Monroe, who is in everything.
Is he really? Was he one of them?
Yeah, he's one of the ones who died. He's the first one to die.
Oh, okay. He was Scary Movie. Well, he's in everything.
Recently in Peacemaker.
Yes.
He was in Spiral, the gay film, not the Saw film.
Yes.
Yeah, Freddy vs. Jason.
He's been in a lot of films.
The thieves infiltrate the shop's underground high security vault and find a sealed silver coffin protected by a deadly defense system.
Yeah. So they break into what looks like a safe. Like a vault in a bank. Very confusing, the set designs. And they open it and it's a cave.
Of course.
Of course. And then they find the coffin in the cave. Then Selena, seeing the vault door open, goes down the steps into the cave as if she knows she's in a horror film. And then we get a nice little jump scare, thinking that she's going to be held hostage or whatever. Turns out she's in on it. Yeah?
Yeah, why is she acting like this when she knows what she's doing?
Exactly. She gives Marcus a kiss, and it turns out she's like the ringleader of the thieves.
Yeah.
So why is she going down the steps as if it's a horror film, and she's investigating a weird noise?
I just love the fact that Van Helsing put him in a vault, in a coffin.
Exactly.
It's like, you've just murdered him. Okay, so, you could dispose of the remains, make sure he doesn't come back for good.
This is what I don't get.
Burn him, do everything you can to make sure he doesn't come back. No, I'm just going to keep him. Just going to put him in a coffin.
This is what I do. And towards the end of the film, it was a big question for me. Like, what? We then go to Van Helsing, who is injecting himself, not with heroin, even though it's played out. It's absolutely played out like Train Spotting.
It is.
Absolutely. It's blood. And he does that thing where he looks up in the air and whatever. And yeah, so they're at we go back to the thieves now after that short little interesting snippet. And they've discovered the coffin and they're trying to open it, aren't they?
Yeah. They decide it has to contain valuable content.
Knowing that they're in a horror movie, they decide the cash is in the coffin and therefore they have to open the coffin.
Yes.
Terrible decision.
Yeah, so two of the thieves, including Lachlan Monroe, are killed in the process by traps. And the rest of them...
It's trapped, isn't it? So it falls from the ceiling, big spiked, whatever, and squishes both of them.
Yeah, and the rest of them, they escape with the coffin and make their way to New Orleans. When Van Helsing discovers that the coffin has been stolen, he activates his fancy weapons cabinet and takes a gun from it. So fucking stupid. Mary Hella Van Helsing. Oh yeah, she's listed on IMDb as Mary Hella Van Helsing. She's not married.
No idea.
Played by Justine Waddell, who I thought I knew from something, but I don't know from anything.
I thought she was the first one killed in Urban Legend.
Yeah, she does.
The one who sings Total Eclipse of the Heart. Yeah. She's got the same energy and the same hair.
But nope.
No, I don't know her. I think she played Natalie Wood in a film. But yeah.
Yeah, she wakes up from a nightmare, which, I mean, as far as we know, her nightmare is just like the entire first 10 minutes of the film. Because there's nothing else to say otherwise.
There's nothing to... Yeah,
like she saw the opening credits and everything.
That is very true.
And then she goes for a stroll in New Orleans with Lucy Westerman, her friend, played by Vitamin C.
Now, she's not credited as vitamin C, is she?
I think she is.
Oh, okay. I see.
Van Helsing boards a plane to America, telling Simon to remain in London after Simon tells him he's like a father to him. And we get about a minute's worth of silence.
Yeah, very, very awkward. I was confused. So how does he know to go to America? I just don't understand how he knows where to go to follow them. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Simon says that Van Helsing's like a father to him.
Yeah.
Very awkward. Before that as well, after Mary's dream, they're walking through New Orleans, and it's clearly Mardi Gras because people have the necklaces from Mardi Gras and such, and they're having a conversation, and they say that Mary either needs to get laid or take some Xanax to deal with her dreams.
Makes sense.
So the thieves are on a plane, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're bickering and trying to get the coffin open. Nightshade, played by Danny Masterson. And what do we know him from?
What do we know him from?
That 70s show.
Okay.
If I remember. Yeah, definitely. He cuts his finger whilst trying to prise open the coffin. His blood opens the coffin to reveal a body wearing a helmet. Where does he put his hand first?
Well, first of all, he searches his cock. He goes for that area.
Let's go straight for
Before
Dracula.
that, there's leeches on Dracula's body.
There are.
And this guy is such a fucking idiot that he flicks one of them into his eye.
He does, yeah.
He literally, we see him flick it himself, and then he spends a few seconds fighting with it to try and get it off and acting like it's just randomly happened. No, we saw you do it. You literally flicked it onto your eye.
Well, he says when he opens the coffin, because there are leeches there, he says, there's still juice in this thing.
Yeah, so he goes for a little wander.
Gets a little handsy.
Dracula's downstairs area and finds a cross with rubies on it. Dracula awakens, attacks the thieves, becomes Gerard Butler, and dons the perfect outfit for the film he's in.
Yeah. So all the thieves kind of get bitten, don't they?
Yes.
Well, it's obviously Nightshade first.
Yeah, I mean, he kills... No, he doesn't kill him. He turns him, doesn't he? He turns
and then
awful.
it's Trick.
Yeah.
Trick is played by Sean Patrick Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
who we know from...
I still know what he did last summer.
No. Halloween Resurrection.
Oh, of course.
Cruel Intentions. And my personal favourite, Save the Last Dance. I think really this is up there with the most sort of hip teen cast.
Yeah.
Really.
And Johnny Lee Miller.
And Christopher Plummer as well. I mean, that's some star power.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I just can't figure out how they all read the script and signed on.
Yeah.
But a lot of cool people also signed on to a lot of other shit around this time.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, he turns the thieves and Selena into vampires, causing the plane to crash in the Louisiana swamps.
Yes.
Mary...
And this is where I first noticed that Gerard Butler looks exactly like Heath Ledger in 10 Things I Hear About You.
He does.
Like, really.
Mary somehow has a vision of this in her Virgin Megastore t-shirt. Dracula gets closer to her in her vision, but Lucy comes in and disturbs him.
He gives her a sniff. They seem to be connected in some way.
Yeah.
Lucy walks straight through him in a really cool CGI effect. Mary then goes to confession at the church.
With Father
David. And I'm going to do it again. Played by...
Who was he played by, actually? I didn't recognise him.
Oh, God. He's someone famous. He's a bit far down on the cast. Oh, I don't know.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. Who played him? Oh, Nathan Fillion.
Oh, I know that name.
So I know I know his face, I know his name. He was in The Suicide Squad. Oh, he's Peacemaker. What a joke. It's him, isn't it?
Rick Flag.
Rick who?
Rick Flag.
Okay.
Is he?
Well, I don't know. What does... I mean, who's Rick Flag?
Rick Flag, the one who says Peacemaker, what a joke. The one from...
Then that's him, then.
Yeah, but he was in the other Suicide Squad as well.
Oh, was he?
Jesus.
What's going on here on this day?
Professionalism knows no limits on this podcast.
No, that's Joel Kinnaman.
That's Joel
Rick
Kinnaman, yeah.
Flag. So who does he play?
He plays TDK.
Oh, okay. Who's that?
The one whose arms fall off.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He was also strip club employee in Deadpool.
Okay, Saving Private Ryan, Guardians of the Galaxy. I think he's most famous for... Is it Firefly and Serenity?
Well, he also worked with Patrick Lucier on White Noise 2 to Light. Again, why has he not learnt his lesson? Why do people keep working with this guy? I mean, My Bloody Valentine, you know, that was great, but everything else, no, guys, it's not the one. He was Caleb in Buffy the Vampire Slayer as well.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, yeah, so she goes to confession at his church after that tangent. And asks far too many questions about her mother's terrible secrets.
Don't even. I've no idea. Like, why is she going to confession? This is the first glimpse of where they're going with this film and how overtly religious the film gets by the end. So she goes to confessional, and I'm in my notes, I'm like, oh, I suppose it's cheaper than a psychologist to go to a therapist. But, like, what does she need to confess to him? Like, what is she confessing? She has dreams about this weirdo. So apparently she's been going there a while. Her mother went there for 5 years prior to her death.
Yeah.
And she's trying to get the tea on what her mother used to talk about at the confessional. She said, did she confess some terrible secrets?
Oh, Father, come on, we're friends from school.
Exactly.
Come on, please tell me, Father.
We've been friends.
And he's there like, oh, I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, so back to Jesus. yes, Jesus
I
loves
did
you.
Put, what accent is Mary trying to give?
So, it's alright, my mum's dead. She isn't, no.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm not telling you anything. Bye.
He's a real non-entity in this film by the end as well. You think he's hiding a secret, but nope. Van Helsing arrives at what I believe to be New Orleans airport. People are dressed for Mardi Gras. As the news report gives the lowdown on the plane crash, including the discovery of the coffin. My question is, how did he know to travel to New Orleans before watching this news report?
Van Helsing arrives in New Orleans at the exact time and walks to the airport at the exact time, and Simon as well behind him, at the exact time when this news report is on the TV showing the horribly mutilated corpse and the stolen coffin. But we can't complain too much because this is also when we are introduced to news reporter and gay icon Valerie Sharp.
Who?
Valerie Sharp.
Valerie
She's reporting
Sharp.
the crash. After she finishes reporting it, she says to her cameraman, "Did you get the sunset? Did you get my tits?" And then she goes on to practice what she's going to say later on. She's like, oh, this is Valerie Sharp. Turn me on at 11. Oh, no way. This is Valerie Sharp. Turn me on at 11 to watch these stupid bugs kiss my... And then she's bitten.
She is.
Not by the bugs, by Dracula.
Yeah.
Who also kills her cameraman.
Her cameraman, JT, played by Shane West.
JT. Shane West, now what was he in?
He was in, I remember, from A Walk to Remember. He's also known for The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, of course he is. That's what I know him from.
Get Over It. I love that film. Ocean's 11. And what looks very interesting, Whatever It Takes. Which looks like another sort of teen comedy in the mould of Bring It On and Can't hardly wait, etc.,
Okay.
etc. But yes, good old Shane West.
I think that's probably the last IMDb tangent we're going to have that for the
Oh
episode. Okay, what was Valerie Sharp? Was she in anything?
She was actually, I did recognise her face, and she is Jerry Ryan, and I think she was probably most famous for one of the Star Treks.
Okay. Yeah, so Val Sharp is bitten. She does become a vampire later on. But until we get to that point...
It's kind of a, like, what actually happened to her. It's a shame, really, because she's a bit of a non-entity in the
I know,
film
she
as a
deserves
whole.
so much more screen time.
She does deserve a bit more, actually. Bless her heart.
Mary is at her Virgin Megastore job. Oh, I used to love Virgin Megastore.
I loved Virgin Megastore. Vitamin C, CDs in the background.
Yes. She has a vision of Dracula getting a bit too close to her neck. So she's like, sorry guys, gotta go home. Got a headache.
Yeah.
So she takes the fucking day off because she has a Dracula vision.
We've got Mary who works at Virgin Megastore with Lucy as a vision of Dracula giving her a snog and runs off neglecting her work duties. Van Helsing turns up at some sort of social club or a school hall.
Oh, what is a church hall? I thought it was about to go to Slimming World.
I thought it was like, it reminds me of like the Cub Scouts. Cub Scout hut or something. I mean, there's like banners all over the walls and there's like chairs stacked up to the side. It looks like it's in use. So I don't know why this is where they decided to put the coffins and such, but you know, he's there. He's having a pint. I don't know.
Simon shows up. He's like, "Oh, you look awful." I'm like, "What the fuck? What's that for?" I mean, there's no reason why he'd look awful.
Jet lag, you old cunt.
Van Helsing attempts to stake Selena, but Simon stops him and she gets away. So he proceeds to shoot one of the vampire thieves in slow motion.
Yes.
He then tells Simon to either shoot the vampires in the heart or decapitate them. Some advice that makes for some very entertaining scenes later on. The vampire thief comes back and Simon kills him. Marcus comes back. Simon stabs him in the eye, so he jumps out the window.
Where are we?
This is when the vampires are attacking in the Slimming World Hall.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes.
The other thief attacks Van Helsing, and Val Sharp grabs Simon and tells him all she wants to do is suck. All of her one-liners are so fucking dirty. She's like, "Oh, I just want to suck."
What? Have I missed something?
I-
Who says that?
Val
I
Sharp.
thought Selena said it.
No, it's gay icon Val
So
Sharp.
she's hanging around the
Yeah.
scout.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Van Helsing, he shoots her arm. Simon holds a knife to her throat, but he has to leave when the police arrive.
Okay, that is Selena.
No, she gets away.
No, that is... Yeah. Who holds the knife to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not Valerie.
I thought it was Val.
No.
So
That's Selena.
Hang on. Okay, Selena was definitely not wearing the same outfit she was wearing in the scene before that. So did she have a costume change between chases?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, this is all Selena.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's still an iconic line. Afterwards, Van Helsing reveals to Simon, in a very, very bizarre series of events. We shit you not, this is the actual plot of this film, the plot twist. Van Helsing reveals that he's in fact the original Abraham Van Helsing, who defeated Dracula in 1897. So we get a flashback to Abraham on The Boys killing Dracula.
A not de-aged.
No.
Like kind of.
It dyed his hair.
Weird. Yeah. Like, giving him a wig and some, like, glasses
And a
shit.
moustache.
Yeah, and that's kind of slightly de-aged him, but the whole point is that he hasn't aged.
Yeah.
But then, like, he looked that old for that? Like, because Christopher Plummer was a ripe age, wasn't he, in 2000? Yeah. So it's kind of weird, because I don't know what they were going for. Because if the whole idea is that he hasn't aged since then...
Well, because he was unable to destroy Dracula permanently, Van Helsing hid the body and prolonged his own life by regularly injecting Dracula's blood, filtered via leeches, until one day he could discover a way to permanently kill Dracula. Since Mary was conceived after Van Helsing began his injections, she shares blood and a telepathic link with Dracula.
What a shit. So, I'm confused. Because by the end of the film, seemingly, Dracula has been defeated.
Yeah.
In a quite a simple way. But Old Man Van Helsing is saying that he couldn't kill Dracula permanently. Well, one issue I really have is the way he pronounces Dracula.
Dracula.
Dracula. That's an issue for me.
No, he definitely has a V in there. It's Dracula.
I got a Y. I got a bit of a Y in there, Dracula. Anyway, we get a little flashback to Victorian times. And then he shows Simon a photo of Mary. And he also reveals that Mary is his daughter. Which I've put here, which would be a better revelation if I hadn't seen her full name on IMDb. Because they make it as if it's a twist. And I'm like, oh, well I kind of already knew that, because her surname's Van Helsing. I don't know where she's referred to in the film as Hela then.
I know, yeah.
I'm assuming that we're led to believe that she's taken the surname Hela. So the big surprise is that she's actually Mary Van Helsing.
Really pointless.
Really completely pointless. Mary's back at the church again. She's talking absolute shit.
Well, hang on. Before we move on, we can't just move on from this stupid revelation. I mean, what a lot of effort. He kept himself alive for a few centuries just because he wanted to find a way to kill him permanently. Who gives a shit? You've killed him for now. Live the rest of your life. Die. That's it. It's not your problem anymore. What the fuck are you doing?
I just... So, since that time, Dracula has... I mean, he's had enough blood in him to feed these leeches. And there's still blood there. But he needed blood, just a little bit, from the guy from that 70s show to wake him up.
Yeah.
Yeah? So, why didn't they... What I don't understand is, if he's been that way for over 100 years, why don't you just bury him really deep in the ground? Like, really deep.
It's so... It doesn't make any sense. There's no way anyone can justify this premise and say it makes any sort of sense whatsoever.
No.
I really can't believe they actually went with it.
Why would you keep him somewhere where he could be discovered?
Yeah.
And the coffin could be opened. And I understand it's behind a very, secure door, unless your secretary's going behind your back. But why? Why keep him there at all? But why keep him in a coffin, for fuck's sake? Why just put him in a fucking suitcase in the back of the wardrobe? It would have been safer there. No one would have cared.
How has someone also not done this before 2000? I mean, Bram Stoker had released his novel Within This World, so everyone knows who Van Helsing is. They find someone called Van Helsing owning a suspiciously large antique shop where something is clearly fucking hidden, and no one has attempted to do this before now, even though it was so easy to get in with technology in 2000. So it would have been even easier before this, and no one's tried to do this before this point.
And the thing is, they didn't think it was the corpse of Dracula.
No.
They're all acting like they don't know who Dracula is, and like no one says, "Oh my god, it's Dracula." Like, Mary has some sort of psychic connection to him. a guy who and apparently she's been having these dreams for many years.
Yeah.
And so she understands. It's revealed that she hasn't talked to her father for 12 years. But she knows that her father has Van Helsing as a surname.
Yeah.
She's been having these repeated visions that feel very real about a guy who very much looks like a vampire. Very similar to that novel by Bram Stoker that exists in this world.
With her own fucking surname.
And yeah, and she knows her surname is Van Helsing.
How
It's
does she not
revealed
track her
to
dad down? How many people
Why
are called
would
Van
she not-
Helsing?
And then she says, "Oh well, I haven't spoken to him. You know, not it's just through choice, not you know." So she could have. I mean, he owns the biggest and most extravagant antique shop on the planet. He would have been easy to find. You'd think she'd call up and be like, Dad, I know we haven't spoken for a while. This book that was written about, you know, one of our one of our relatives. Do you think it could be real? Because I'm having a few visions that I can't quite understand. But she goes to, you know, Priest Man.
Yeah.
And doesn't reveal anything to him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's probably best not to get into it because.
Well, apparently her mother took her from
we already
England.
did.
Took her from England when the truth about his identity came to light.
Right.
So again, that raises even more questions as to how she didn't know about all this shit.
Exactly.
But anyway, Mary goes back to Father David to tell him all about her Virgin Megastore incident and how Dracula wants her soul. And Father David randomly turns into Dracula and then back again into himself, so she leaves.
Yeah.
Dracula goes to a nightclub for no specific reason.
Well, yeah, Dracula takes a stroll through the saucy streets of New Orleans. There's a few, not even like silhouettes of strippers and such, and everyone's having a good old pie or whatever. Selena talks shite as she's being questioned by the police.
She shows off her vampire skills.
She does.
She's like, starts leaning forward and look, I'm a vampire.
And it's a one-way mirror, but she can see
Yeah.
through it and see the police officer. There's someone else she can see as well, using her vampire powers.
Oh, I can see you. I can even see the outline of your cock. Why do the vampires all talk like cock destroyers once they're turned into vampires?
It's true.
Selena pulls one of the cops through the one-way window and Dracula takes care of the other one off screen.
See, this is the thing. Dracula just appears out of
He
nowhere.
does.
He has this weird teleportation thing, but never really teleports to somewhere that would actually really benefit him that much.
Yeah, he goes into... no, okay, we're nearly there, but... Yeah, just hold that thought.
Yes.
Dracula watches the music video for Heads Explode by Monster Magnet.
I genuinely thought this was a parody.
It's like, brilliant.
He does. Yeah, he does.
He then goes into Virgin Megastore to get the latest Heads Explode 12-inch vinyl by Monster Magnet. He doesn't.
No, it's vitamin C, isn't it? It's
yeah.
awful.
This, seriously, he can teleport anywhere he wants. He can go anywhere he wants. He is connected to Mary Van Helsing by blood.
Yeah.
So he walks into Virgin Megastore, where he knows she works there. He goes up to Lucy and he's like, oh, do you know where Mary is? Bitch, fucking teleport to her. You have been haunting her visions and dreams for fuck knows how long. Just transport yourself there. Exactly. What are you doing?
So he can do some sort of weird teleportation thing into the police station, but he can't do it to find Mary. He has to go, oh, you're right, love. Yeah, is Mary working today? Oh, no, okay.
She's like, oh, do you want help with music? And he kisses her hand. She fucking takes him home. Also, seriously, Lucy, Mary's been describing to you this exact guy.
But no, this is the point. So this is where there's another bit of inconsistency. Is this Dracula was walking through Virgin Megastore and every woman, because there's only women shopping for some reason.
Yeah.
But every woman is like, oh, you know, you think Brad Pitt had walked through, sort of thing. So that's the idea, and it's, you know, vampire folklore, really, that they can mesmerize, you know, people. Yeah, like a slight hypnosis.
Uh-huh.
So that's what we're meant to be getting from this scene. But there's nothing. I mean, I know it's a bit hokey, but just do a you know, close up of her eyes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know, or something like that, because she's just coming across as a bit of a slut, if I'm being honest, which is fine. You know, I don't judge like that. But she has been warned about this guy. Beforehand.
Yeah, she takes him home to see if Mary's there. So she asks him in. Lucy wants to know his name, and he tells her he has many names and talks some shit about being more complicated. People being more complicated than the names. And then she's like...
Whoa.
And she's like, I was named after the Peanuts character.
Yes.
They then have saucy mid-air sex.
Oh, don't. Oh,
Are you alright there?
Sorry, a bit.
I'm sorry, am I keeping you up? Wow.
I'm sorry, it's a bit of a yawn fest, this film.
Hey, this scene wasn't a yawn fest, it was like The Room.
What, on the ceiling?
Floaty curtains.
What a feeling when you're humping on the ceiling.
Yeah, Simon finds Mary at work quite easily. Why does everyone know she works at Virgin Megastores? Like, why is this fucking common knowledge?
But she's gone in looking for Lucy.
Yeah.
So it's only by chance that she's there. I mean, it's not her scheduled hours.
No.
But she's gone in looking for Lucy.
Marcus finds Simon in a car park and pretends to be a drunk asking for a drink. Seriously, how the fuck Simon didn't know this was Marcus?
Yeah, you know the guy I stabbed in the eye earlier?
Simon falls for it and Marcus reveals himself before they have a shit fight.
Excuse me, what does he do?
Reveals himself.
Wow.
They have a shit fight by a Virgin fan. And I just got in my notes, Virgin must have been fucking rolling in it after this film.
Well,
like,
they
all of that money they made. And then Simon stakes Marcus and says, never ever fuck with an antiques dealer.
Yeah. Which apparently was a joke on set that Johnny Lee Miller made. And they were like, oh, that sounds good actually, we'll put that in the film. Simon cuts off Marcus's head.
Yeah.
And it goes
flies into a bin.
Flies into the bin. Bit like Garcelle's book. That's topical, isn't it?
That's not topical, because that's literally only just happened today. No one's going to know what the fuck you're talking about. Van Helsing goes to Mary and Lucy's house. Dracula confronts him and throws his gun aside and throws him into a mirror.
Oh, did you not think Gerard Butler's Scottish accent was
it
really coming out, particularly in this scene? It was dying to make an appearance.
Yeah. Mary comes home and gets a call from Lucy, who tells her that she's with her father. So Mary goes upstairs with a baseball bat and finds Lucy's bed covered in blood and her father's corpse underneath it.
Yeah, so I got a few issues. Number one, she turns on the main light in the room.
Yeah.
Even though it's a perfectly adequately lit room, it's perfectly fine. She switches it on, the main light.
Yeah.
Which switches on 3 lamps. Not the main light, doesn't switch on the main light, it switches on 3 lamps. One of the lamps sparks with a big noise, but none of the lamps switch off.
No.
It's a really cheap jump scare, and I fucking hate these cheap jump scares. Like, what was the point? Because none of this makes any sense. No one turns on the lamps with the main light switch. Okay?
Yeah.
Number 2, Christopher Plummer. Big selling point for the film. You know? Playing Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Van Helsing is a main character up to this point. Dies off screen and is found under... I don't know how to describe the bed. Like, I understand it's Lucy's bed, vitamin C's. So it's going to be a little, you know, young. But it is kind of a bit like he dies next to one of those see-through phones, like from the 90s. It's like, oh, like really? Is this how Val Helsing? That's how what his name Van Helsing is going out in this film. Like, oh, what a bore! What a letdown.
Lucy shows up to tell Mary that Van Helsing is. No, she tells her that Dracula is better than chocolate.
Yeah, she's annoyed that Mary's not sharing the man of her dreams.
I know. Mary leaves the room to find plenty of floaty red curtains, essential for a vampire film. And Dracula's brides, Selina.
Do you not think the hallway was given pure Suspiria?
It was trying to.
Yeah, of course. But it's red, isn't it? Very red.
Yeah.
And, it's like when Jessica Harper runs down the hallway.
Yeah, Selina and Lucy are crawling along the walls. And Val, she shows up and informs Mary that they sucked her old man dry.
They're jealous.
They are.
They're jealous because all women are secretly jealous of each other in these films. And they're fuming that Mary is the one that Dracula is after because she was born of his blood.
It's true, yeah.
Which Mary doesn't seem too shocked or surprised
No.
by. If somebody said, I was born of Dracula's blood, I'd be like, what? What does that mean? But apparently she didn't care that much. Dracula appears. I say that a lot in my notes for this film. Dracula appears. Dracula appears. Dracula appears. Dracula appears. And Mary escapes chased by a wolf.
Yeah,
Where this wolf came from. Simon then appears. Because people just love appearing out of nowhere. People just appear. And he shoots the really shitty looking CGI wolf.
Yeah.
That turns into really shitty looking bats. Like, what is... It's like, oh, we'll just throw a wolf in there with some bats. Like, I'm pretty sure that was in the novel. I think I saw it in a Christopher Lee version or something. Oh, I don't fucking know. Put it in there.
Mary takes Simon to her favourite church.
Oh my god.
They chat shit about Dracula.
I said it to Gary whilst we were watching it and I got it in my notes. What is it with this church and chatting absolute bollocks? Fucking hell. Every moment spent in this church is so boring.
Yeah, they're just there talking about Dracula, her father, some destiny.
They
both go looking for exposition, but they're interrupted by Dracula, who shows up and pushes Simon over. So Simon holds a Bible up to him and opens it up, and when the pages fly out, they catch fire when they touch Dracula. But it does absolutely no damage, and he just randomly disappears.
Yeah, now he's randomly disappearing. Simon gives Mary a cross that turns into a knife.
Yeah.
And then he says, this might be of some use. Which usually would mean it's definitely going to be some sort of use. But I don't think she uses it.
No, I don't think it comes back.
It actually isn't of any use whatsoever. Another completely pointless aspect of this film.
She runs away and Dracula chases her through a graveyard filled with dry ice.
Yeah.
Dracula finds Mary and takes her away before Simon can get to her. So Simon goes looking for Dracula, but instead finds his Slay Queen brides. They do a classic Sugar Babe strut towards him, straight from the Easy video.
Oh yeah, just slightly before this, Dracula's talking to Mary, and he says, "I've walked the earth for centuries, for a soul not bitten but born." And then says, "And all you are is mine." And I go, "Hey, what does that even mean?" But it didn't make any sense. So it's been centuries he's walked the earth to find someone like Mary, who has been born of his blood and not bitten.
Uh-huh.
And it's taken centuries to get to this point. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Well, you don't have to wait much longer because we have some exposition soon.
Sorry, my
But first, the queens, they strut towards him.
They sexy ladies out of sight.
Looks like Girls Aloud versus Sugar Babes,
Yes.
but without Girls Aloud.
Absolutely. They give me Linda Evangelista, Kate Moss, Claudia Schiffer,
Yeah.
serving in some virginal white.
Yeah. Because I was too
For a
busy.
very brief moment of time.
Well, because I was too busy gathering the clip for this scene to put on our socials, I missed. Apparently, you killed gay icon Val.
First one gone is Val.
The best one.
She probably was the best one. She got very little screen time. We hardly knew Valerie.
Yeah.
And then, why don't you come on over?
Oh, wow. Dracula proceeds to reveal his true identity by way of some boring exposition flashbacks. The Apostle Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus for a bribe of 30 pieces of silver, after Jesus was crucified, Judas tried to hang himself in shame, but the rope snapped, and God cursed him to live forever as a vampire. By the way, I don't think I said that clear enough. I just want to repeat that again to make sure it sinks in.
This is the twist.
Dracula is Judas. He is Judas.
Yes.
From the Bible.
From the Bible.
Everyone's favourite character, top billed cast. Judas from the Bible.
Yeah, Lady Gaga wrote a song about him.
He tried to hang himself in shame, but the rope snapped, and God cursed him to live forever as a vampire. Mary's now got a fancy red dress on to go with the Sugar Babes theme, to match the floaty curtains as well, and she finally understands why the legendary vampire is vulnerable to silver and hates Christian iconography.
Oh God, that's just one issue I have is that he's literally just said he's been walking the earth for centuries. Now, it wouldn't be centuries, it would be 2,000 years.
And also, he's been dead for like a big portion of that.
Yeah, well, no, he hasn't though.
Well, he has. He's been in the coffin.
Yeah, but Jesus Christ, but Judas would have been around, AD. Before Jesus, and then after Jesus. So this was 2000 BC.
Wait, so how
AD?
How old is? Wait.
So he's meant to be at least 2,000 years old.
Before he was put in a coffin.
No, he would have been 1,980 something years old.
Oh, fuck off! The Bible tells people that Judas is meant to be 1,900 years old.
No. So the Bible. So Judas was in the Bible.
Yeah.
But our years are before Christ.
Oh,
and
fuck.
whatever that.
People don't want to listen to this shit. Let's move on. They don't want to hear us talk about the fucking Bible. I don't want to talk about the Bible. Jesus Christ. Literally.
I'm not really. I've never read it, and I've never been that way inclined. I don't judge people who are, but it's never been for me.
It hasn't got the best reviews.
It hasn't got the best reviews. It hasn't got the best reviews for us. Or Eat and See.
Do you think anyone who wrote this fucking film ever read the Bible? Like, clearly not.
It's very cheap. It's a very cheap twist. But it makes him, 1,000 years old.
It is hilarious.
I just think that's so ridiculous.
It is. It really is. Mary, and when she delivers her line, she's like, now I know why he's vulnerable to silver and hates Christian iconography. Yeah. Selena and Lucy appear with Simon.
One thing I will give is she's absolutely serving in that red dress.
Yeah.
And she's got her hair tied back. And it's the best she's looked through the film, because otherwise she's just a bit like a tramp for the rest of the film. She's got like this like leggings or joggers or something on for most of the film. Jeggings. And a Virgin Megastore t-shirt.
Selena and Lucy appear with Simon, who has killed Valerie earlier with a stake, rest in peace. And Dracula tells Mary to bite him. However, Mary fakes the bite. After...
But he's got a mark on his...
He has. I don't know what she's done there. Maybe. Lucy's like, the bitch is faking it. So Mary decapitates her.
Yeah.
And Simon cuts Selena's head off with fucking garden shears.
Yeah, they have a prolonged fight. We get a bit of ever so slightly interesting action between Dracula and Mary. They're doing... Because she is a vampire.
Yeah.
Because she's doing the floaty...
She's got Dracula's blood in her.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon thing. But she couldn't do this before.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
She wasn't
it
in
doesn't make
Virgin
any sense.
Megastore floating up to the top shelf.
That's the point.
New Vitamin C album. Here you go.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But she's had vampire blood in her.
She's been bitten by Dracula as well, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's full-fledged vampire.
But realistically, her and her dad should have been vampires. Because they had vampire blood inside them.
Yeah. So he was part vampire, but only the part that allowed him to live... Conveniently, only the part that allowed him to live for a prolonged period of time. Yeah?
Yeah.
For Mary, it's the one... It allows her to float. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. And they do the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon fighting. They end up dangling from this large Jesus Christ on the cross neon sign that's toppled over. So they're on a roof, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's toppled over. It's hanging off the edge of the roof. And they get caught up, and a wire ends up around Dracula's neck.
Yeah.
Very conveniently, considering, what happened to him 2,000 years ago. And he's hanging there, and, but he's not dying, but he's, hanging by the neck, isn't he? Mary falls.
She does.
Lands on the pavement. We think she's a goner. She's not. She's perfectly fine. Just takes her a few moments to wake back up. And conveniently for everyone involved, the sun starts rising.
Yes.
And the sun rises, and Dracula is engulfed in flames.
Yeah.
Mary isn't, though.
No, but you know why?
Why?
Because when she falls, she's cured of her vampirism by Dracula saying, "I release you."
Oh.
That's how she survives.
I didn't get that.
The entire film, all he needed to say was, "I release you," and that's it. Yeah.
Oh. Well, he's burnt to a crisp.
Why did he have any need to release her, by the way? What difference does it make to him?
Why is he not bitter about it?
I know, yeah. Yeah.
We get a shot of Judas hanging from the tree back in biblical times.
Yes. Just in case we forgot the ridiculous backstory from 10 minutes ago.
Exactly. And then Mary has seemingly inherited her father's antique shop. She talks some shite about her protecting the ashes of Dracula in case his soul is still in them.
Yeah, she puts them in the exact same place where people fucking stole him before.
Well, I am my father's daughter.
So I am Mary Van Helsing. I am my father's daughter, and nothing can take that away.
Of course she's called Mary. Oh, biblical...
Of course, yeah.
Shite.
She says that, and then we literally get One Step Closer by Linkin Park.
We do.
In the end credits.
Best part of the film. I have issues with this ending as well. Number one, he's burnt alive. Yeah. So seemingly he's burnt and then his ashes occur.
Yeah.
Whilst he's hanging. So those ashes are just gonna blow in the wind or something. How are they gonna collect the ashes? How are they gonna collect the ashes?
I wish that was an actual scene.
He's burning whilst hanging off a fucking roof. How have they collected his ashes?
How have they not been arrested?
How has this occurred? Yeah, exactly. Who's this bloke you just burnt alive?
It's Mardi Gras. Somehow she landed on an empty street.
Yeah.
During Mardi Gras.
The only time any of those streets have ever been empty But what they done, like, got a vacuum or something, vacuumed up the ashes. Number 2, she's like, if his soul happens to be in the, if you happen to want to make a sequel to this film, but why, if burning him, if putting him out in the sun and burning him has rendered this film concluded, and we're all fine with that, and we can go home safely and happy, why wasn't fucking Christopher Plummer doing that 100 fucking years ago?
Exactly.
I don't get it. It's really, really bad writing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's this kind of... I'm surprised, because it's this kind of shit that happens when you have 4 or 5 writers writing a screenplay. The bit that just don't fit just doesn't make any sense. And I'm surprised that there was just one writer that wrote the whole thing, or 1 or 2. But it's usually a case of, oh, well, so-and-so wrote this, but we didn't like it, so we got so-and-so to come in and touch it up.
Mhm.
And then so-and-so touched that up because we didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just... Yeah. Oh, it made no sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's...
It pushed me one step closer to the edge.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I was thoroughly entertained throughout. It's so stupid. You just have to watch it in awe in some scenes. The fact that they thought they could get away with this shit. They think people are stupid enough to be like, oh yeah, it's Judas, of course he is.
Oh my god.
Like, seriously.
But they're not... My thing is, in terms of vampire stories, you know, if you're gonna go meta, because every horror film had to go meta after Scream. We get it. We've discussed it thoroughly on the podcast. This one was going meta in terms of the novel, but I don't feel like they'd read the novel.
No.
Or they didn't refer to the novel that much.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't. The conclusion is, if Dracula was Judas, they could have tied that back to the novel and been like a little bit of revisionist history and say Bram Stoker was this, that, and the other to do with Judas. But it feels like they just threw in the Bram Stoker part because, number one, Bram Stoker's Dracula had come out, you know, a few years prior, and also Scream had come out a few years prior. So they were going meta with it, and they were like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you know. But in terms of vampire films, by the year 2000, there was a fucking load of them.
Yeah.
Now, by 2022, there's even more vampire films. So for me, personally, watching this for the first time in 2022, I was bored. Because I felt like I'd seen so much of it before and done better.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of, like, you know, yeah, they were slaying, but Dracula's brides have slayed harder and better in other films. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
It didn't feel fresh to me. I suppose as a 10-year, and I think there's probably a bit of nostalgia involved in your enjoyment of the film. Because as a 10-year-old, like, oh my god, you know, this is great. I'm thoroughly entertained. But I mean, for me personally, watching it for the first time in 2022, fucking hell. It wasn't good. There were some elements to it that were enjoyable.
It's not a good film. It's not a good film.
Are you saying it's trash-to-piece territory?
I don't think it's good and bad. It's not quite at trash-to-piece level, but I think it's still watchable and bad and... Yeah. No, I wouldn't put it on my best trash-to-pieces list, but
okay.
I would happily sit down and watch it for some stupid, bad fun.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle. somewhere in the middle.
We need a new word for that.
We do, yeah. It's not quite there. But if you want to watch it, of course, don't give Weinstein's your money. It's on YouTube in full.
It is.
So-
It is on. Well, yeah, it is on
See
YouTube.
for yourself what this fucking ridiculous film is
Not
like.
quite 4K on YouTube, but it was alright.
Yeah, so if you've already seen it, we are Horror Court Trash over on Facebook and Instagram, and Horror Court Trash
The one
on
we watched, the
Twitter.
volume was so quiet that
Yeah,
we've
no,
had to
it's-
turn it up. Remember that? When we put the TV on again, it would go
Definitely,
really
yeah.
loud.
Let us know what you think of the film. I'm Dylan Gaz92 on Letterboxd, Gazmo205 on Instagram, GazCruise92 on Twitter.
I am Chris Barker 823 on Instagram and Letterboxd.
And give us a rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, like and follow on everything else, rating on Spotify. Next week, we're going back in time a bit more, a bit further back than the 90s and the 2000s, and we're discussing Cutting Class with Brad Pitt.
Yes, going for a cheesy 80s slasher film. So I'm really excited for that one.
Yes, should be very good.
That might be Trash to Piece territory.
Here's hoping.
Yeah.
We'll see you same time, same place next week.
Bye.